Have you ever wondered how one virus could change the world forever? This is the story of HIV/AIDS, a battle fought not just in labs but in the streets, in our homes, and in our hearts. It all began in the early 1980s. A mysterious illness started appearing in clusters across the United States, particularly among young men. Doctors were baffled. Patients were developing rare forms of pneumonia and cancer, their immune systems completely collapsing. No one knew what was causing it, and this lack of understanding bred fear. A deep, ugly stigma took hold, shaping the early, often cruel public response. The media called it a gay plague, and society turned its back on those who were suffering the most. Then, a breakthrough. Between 1983 and 1984, scientists in France and the United States identified a new retrovirus, which they named HIV, as the cause of what was now called acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS. The puzzle pieces started to fit together. Researchers traced the virus's origins back decades earlier, likely to Central Africa, where a version of the virus had made a zoonotic jump from chimpanzees to humans. This wasn't a new gay disease. It was a human virus that had been quietly spreading for years. Once identified, the scale of the crisis became terrifyingly clear. HIV wasn't confined to one country or one community. It had already silently spread across the globe. But misinformation was rampant. People feared they could get it from a handshake, a toilet seat, or a shared glass. This widespread panic fueled discrimination, causing people to lose their jobs, their homes, and their families. But from this darkness, a powerful movement was born. Communities, especially the LGBTQ community alongside their allies, began to organize. They demanded action, refusing to let governments and scientific institutions ignore the dying. The human toll was immense. Millions of lives were cut short across every continent. The epidemic left behind a generation of orphans and hollowed-out communities. But amidst the overwhelming loss, there were incredible stories of resilience. People took care of their sick friends when their own families wouldn't. Lovers held hands through their final moments. And a new kind of family was forged in the crucible of this crisis, a chosen family, bound by love and solidarity. The AIDS epidemic didn't just change medicine. It fundamentally transformed our conversations about sex, death, and social justice. Frustrated by the slow pace of research and government inaction, people took to the streets. Activist groups like ACT UP, with their unforgettable slogan, "Silence equals death," staged powerful protests. They stormed the offices of pharmaceutical companies and government health agencies, demanding faster access to experimental drugs and a more compassionate response. These activists, many of whom were fighting for their own lives, became experts in the science of the disease. They successfully challenged the traditional, slow-moving process of medical research, forever changing how patients are involved in their own care. Their relentless pressure is a huge reason why we have effective treatments today. And then, in the mid-1990s, came the miracle. A new class of drugs called protease inhibitors, when combined with other medications, created a powerful cocktail known as antiretroviral therapy, or ART. For the first time, an AIDS diagnosis was no longer an immediate death sentence. It became a manageable, chronic condition. Mortality rates in wealthy countries plummeted. People who had been preparing to die suddenly had a future. It was a monumental victory for science and for activism. The next great challenge was making these life-saving drugs available to everyone, especially in low-income countries in Africa and Asia, where the epidemic was still raging. With treatment came a new focus: prevention. The scientific community developed incredible new tools. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, a daily pill that can prevent HIV infection, has been a game-changer. Testing became faster, easier, and more accessible. Critically, we proved that when a person with HIV is on effective treatment and their viral load is undetectable, they cannot sexually transmit the virus to their partners. This concept, known as U equals U or undetectable equals untransmittable, has been revolutionary in dismantling stigma and fear. Massive education campaigns and global health initiatives have helped slow the spread of the virus. But the fight is far from over. Today, millions of people around the world are still living with HIV. While treatment is more accessible than ever, deep inequalities remain. Your access to life-saving medicine can still depend on where you live, how much money you have, or who you love. Stigma and discrimination continue to be major barriers to testing and care. But the scientific community has not given up. Researchers are working tirelessly on developing a vaccine and hopefully a complete cure. The end of AIDS is within our grasp, but it will require continued investment, political will, and global solidarity. The story of HIV/AIDS offers powerful lessons for humanity. It taught us the devastating cost of stigma and the life-saving power of compassion. It showed us that science, when fueled by relentless activism and global cooperation, can achieve the impossible. It completely reshaped how we respond to public health crises, lessons that were put to the test during the recent COVID-19 pandemic. Most importantly, it reminds us that the fight for health is a fight for human rights. The future is hopeful. With every scientific advance, we move closer to a world without AIDS. The stories of survivors, activists, and scientists who have dedicated their lives to this fight continue to inspire us. Their legacy is one of resilience, of love in the face of fear, and of the incredible power we have when we stand together. If you found this story of resilience and progress as powerful as we did, help us continue to create meaningful content. We're a small channel and your support means the world. Please give this video a thumbs up and more importantly, hit that subscribe button. Every new subscriber helps our community grow and allows us to tell more stories that matter. Thank you for watching.